Hi, this is ABT's Air Expo.
On ABT, I'm Peter McGowan. That's John Horrigan. We're at the air show today at the South Weymouth Naval Air Station. It's going to be the last one. Last air show down here as this base is going to be closing. Enjoy.
Is right now at the Randolph Sunglasses. Shorty Tucker is there right now, signing autographs. That's the bugle call that you will be hearing. Six of Diamonds come overhead to commence their show in just a few moments as they form up. Come by in the giant wedge formation. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll want to have your cameras ready for that. These aircraft are becoming rarer and rarer and rarer. 12,000, over 12,000 of them built originally. Less than 700 of those aircraft are still flying today all around the world. Used by the air forces of many, many countries. Known to the Canadians, the Australians, the South Africans, and the United States Armed Forces all use the 86 or SNJ trigger. And in Weymouth, we had a real good time. Take a look around some of the static display aircraft. And I might also mention, incidentally, if you haven't had lunch yet, you have right now about 3 minutes until the Six of Diamonds appear overhead. And good ladies and gentlemen, it is high altitude and Charlie across us. So right now, from your position. Two outside aircraft pull up into a loop, corner roll on the downside, and our other 4 aircraft remain in the diamond formation. Those 2 aircraft to the left and right are our opposing solos, Bill Dodds and Dan Damio. Half rolling around now for the opposing cross. Watch as they cross over right-hand air show center, the rolling cross. Now, our 4 aircraft in the diamond formation shows viewed nationwide. On the left wing, Mr. Jim Beasley, the CFII and the P-51 pilot, the love of aviation, which he balances with his law practice. On the left wing, Dan Calderali, and in the slot position, still. And here are the diamonds in their signature photographs. Now, if you'll look to your left and your right once again. 747 captain of the Federal Express and ex-military pilot. He's an aerobatic evaluator for ICAS and Warbirds of America. Our number 6 aircraft, Dan Damio, one of the original members of the team, the owner of a New Jersey trucking company and a corporate citation pilot. He's also an aerobatic evaluator for ICAS and Warbirds of America.
See.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, approaching from your left, the formation is to all stand for a special salute to the men and women of our armed forces as the Six of Diamonds Quad Diamond team come by and execute the missing man formation. And ladies and gentlemen, this is in honor of all the fallen veterans of our armed services, the United States Army, the United States Marine Corps, the United States Navy, the United States Air Force, and the United States Coast Guard. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Six of Diamonds tribute to the men and women of our armed services. Thank you, and I know that our personnel, armed services personnel appreciate it.
See, people are going to get sick when they're watching this.
Look at first of all, don't ever start a sentence with me with the word "see." Okay. Second of all, if they don't like it, they can change the channel. You know, as far as I'm concerned.
For a crossing roll from the left and the right, painting those beautiful trails in the blue Massachusetts sky. And appropriately off they go into the wild yonder. And now two solo opposing aircraft once again. Rolling over in opposing rolls once again. Throwing over right-hand side now. The aircraft pitches up and over, followed by the rest of the formation in 2-second intervals, setting up for the squirrel cage loop. And the video camera started rolling right now and followed the right of this entire sequence. There goes Ed Shipley. There goes Jim Beasley. There's Dan Calderal. And there's Reese Dill. And around they go, and watch now in 2-second intervals as they pull up and around for the squirrel cage loop. Touch to the heart of the sky, the arrow passing directly through that beautiful heart of the sky. And up and around, opposing loops. Crossing once again over the top. One aircraft performing the loop. 1.5 minutes. Going from opposite directions, returning both flying in the same direction. And formation loop. Loop to the left. Aircraft once again. A down line now as Dan Damio quarter rolls away. Loop with a 1/4 roll separation box. Build on now, returning and performs the barrel roll around the 3 aircraft in formation. They're at 85 95 knots. He's accelerating now to about 190 knots. On the downhill, the firewall is met with the handle of the throttle. He comes all the way up with the throttle. 650 screaming crackle windy horses, overtakes the main formation, then he pulls up and around for the big barrel roll around the three aircraft. His windshield, then his canopy, then the left and then the right, all filled with the three aircraft. On the exit from that, it's on the airline, around the three aircraft. That's Bill Dodds looping around the formation of Ed Shipley, Jim Beasley, and Dan Calderon. Up and around in the big barrel roll, showing us once again the capabilities of this beautiful big AT-6 Texan. Sliding a turn around the inside of the barrel. Travels from Florida to New Hampshire to stop vehicle smoke on. Up and around they go. Setting up now for the down bumper. Around the top, just before this takes place, there's the smoke, there's the turn, and there's the burst.
I mean, you make fun of my broadcasting, you make fun of my producing, you make fun of my singing. You know, I mean, I'm a one-man band. This is my first time out ever doing camera work, so get off my back, all right? You know? Ever? Walking along the wing of the big Super 7 for her first perch, which will be out along next to the strut, outboard end strut, on the big BT-13D wing. Well, there's the maneuver that Ron Shelley calls the front flicker to make sure that all the bugs are off the windshield. Also checking Karen's seatbelts. Now, if you watch the aircraft carefully now, as Ron Shelley turns around and comes from your right, you'll see that he has the aircraft in stable flight at about 80 miles per hour. And at that speed, Karen Shelly climbing from this relative comfort. Well, do you know, this was the last time that wing walker ever flew?
15 feet steering. I see her now, climbing out of that front cockpit. Here she goes onto the wing, holding onto the wires now, and precariously making her way along that left wing out to her initial perch, out there alongside of the end struts. Yeah, I always get the same feeling here.
Hey, do you remember that father-daughter wing walker team we saw at the biplane here?
Yeah.
Do you know they crashed the next weekend and died in New Hampshire right after we saw them?
And you're putting this out?
Sky above here at Weymouth. Nice pleasant temperature. And, wait a minute. She's not just sitting on the wing there. She is sitting out on the wing with her legs dangling over the edge. Once now, ladies and gentlemen, once again from your right-hand side, Ron and Karen Shelly. Wind up the beautiful stairman again, reminiscent of the barnstorming era and the whirling, rolling 1930s. They're a father and daughter team of barnstormers, lying out pages of American aviation history in each and every performance, harking back to a period in which a less complicated nation was swept into the age of flight. And there's Karen hanging upside down by her knees from the wing.
I see you gave a part of the action to Orville and Wilbur Rice.
Get out. Just get out.
That beautiful Pepsi Sky Dancer. In between airshow seasons, Karen graduated from Langley High School in McLean, Virginia, the University of South Carolina, where she earned a degree in sociology. Karen is employed by the state of Virginia as a probation and parole officer for Fauquier County. From your left, once again, ladies and gentlemen, with Karen Shelly out on that left wing. The smoke comes on the big super stairman. Karen braces herself for the 160-mile-per-hour dive. That precludes the roll around the sky in the PT-13 bull stairman. Karen actually very tall for a wing walker, tipping the ruler at just on 5 feet 11 inches tall. Karen Shelly, one of the very, very few people in the world today who practice the true art of wing walking.
Back off the chest squeeze. It's back.
Our pilot today, Ron Shelly's first flight was the age of 12 in the Aurora float plane, New Jersey's Hackensack River. It was a short ride, but long enough to convince him that someday, out to college, George Washington University, that someday arrived when Ron was accepted for Navy flight training. Watch now as Karen makes her way back in along the wing, and then we'll see his wings of gold from the Navy in December of 1950. Combined, you can see Karen now climbing to the upper wing and taking her position on the rack on top of the big super stairman. Unlike almost any other, it's been experienced by a very few individuals. Two of the individuals that now right here at Naval Air Station, South Weymouth, took the ride yesterday, and I know his fiancée Jeannie didn't want to stand on the ground and watch from down here. She was next aboard the top of the PT-17 steering. Congratulations to both of you for joining a very unique organization. 1978, Ron Shelly joined forces with Bill Fitzsimmons, got into the wing walking business. And after 11 years and over 350 performances together, Bill opted for retirement. It was this time the Shelly family. Ron's married, as I mentioned before, and in 1979 the family moved to a small farm in Midland, Virginia, where they raised Clydesdale horses and other assorted four-legged creatures.
See, people are going to get sick when they're watching this. Acting 105. Ready?
The top wing of the big super stairman up and around to the inside. The Barnstormers performed on November 23rd, 1913, over the Coronado Islands. Peter Nesterov, incidentally, was a captain in the... No, he was not. He was an enlisted man in the Russian Air Force in 1913. And on performing that first ever loop-the-loop, he was promptly arrested and thrown in the brig for endangering government property. When they discovered the validity of what he had done, they promptly removed him from the brig and promoted him to captain. Karen is up there waving to you as she comes by. Ron holding the aircraft on a forward slipping maneuver, showing you the upper side of the aircraft as Karen goes by. Air show. There's Karen now, making her way down back into the front cockpit of the Super Steelman.
John, the Angels are FA-18 Hornets. That's the type of plane they use, and very maneuverable, but these guys know what they're doing. This is going to be great. Just took off. I think we're going to have to because it's about 60,000 here today. 260. I think 90 degrees. What do you think? John, a bird stunt team.
Pete, look at this. Check it out. Here they come.
Here come the Blue Angels. They come to within 3 feet of each other at times, going 180 miles an hour.
What are you talking about, 1800s?
2, South Weymouth Navy Air Station. It's
ABT's Air Expo.
along with John Horrigan doing the camera work and the producing, which I'm sure will be in the graphics. That'll do it for ABT's
Air Expo.
now, but you come back next time, we'll be here.